Does somebody die?
I'm not going to go into.
You can't say that. Oh, okay. Because it's a thing I like. When they kill a main character, when they kill my favorite person, I respect that choice.
What? No.
Really?
No, I like the main character staying in there.
Oh, that's plot armor. That's plot armor. No, Jon Snow should have died at Battle of the Bastards.
Oh.
That would have made sense.
No, we're not.
We're not doing this.
We can't even.
Dude stood in the middle of thousands of bad guys while arrows all missed him. People ran like No, he wasn't. That was Arya.
No, it's not.
Or something.
That was Bran. He's got a better story. We're not doing this. We're not doing this.
We've done it before. Yeah. No, watch that scene again and realize he should have died 13 times.
I've seen it 5-6 times. He shouldn't have died.
Mm-hmm.
You're like, watch that scene where Luke Skywalker was hiding off the side of the
literally
building. And
what plot armor is.
He'd have fallen for sure.
He did fall.
I mean, before the ship got there to catch him, when Darth Vader.
I think maybe I'm thinking of the other scene where he falls in the tube.
We're not getting into this.
The Millennium Falcon and the hand.
Fell.
It's the whole thing.
What was I going to say? Yeah, anyway, when they kill a main character, like when nobody feels safe, say Walking Dead, for example, I like that. Like, look, I love Glenn. Glenn was my favorite guy in the whole show. But the fact that even Glenn's not safe, it's cool.
Look, I'll agree with you there. I liked when they killed Glenn. I thought that was a high point for the show that had been low for like a season and a half. The internet thought the opposite. They're like, ooh, boo-hoo. I thought I was watching a soap opera where the good guys get in a little trouble, but then they get out like it's Buffy the fucking Vampire Slayer. And it's like, no, come on. We're in a goddamn zombie apocalypse. Sometimes some people's gonna get eaten. Now, I think they should have kept Rick and Carl fucking alive, if you ask me.
Carl too? Okay.
They killed Carl! It just seemed like we were leading up to something where Carl was going to like replace Rick. I thought Rick should have died and Carl should have like stepped in. But like, I can't watch that show. I haven't watched it since.
That big redheaded guy who also got his skull caved in.
Abraham.
He was much funnier than Glenn.
Even
though I liked Glenn.
For people that don't know, Abraham was their soldier, right? I guess he had military experience. Not only was he one of the most badass guys in actual war, he was also like their strategist. You know, this is how we're going to deal with this problem.
Tough guy.
The tactician.
Tactician, tough guy, all combined into one. So for him to be removed at a time when they needed his skill set the most was like, well, fuck, now what are we going to do? Listen to like fucking Carl's advice or something, and they put those guys in a real pickle.
I think we should go back to where I had that chocolate pudding.
I think we're gonna go on a gummy bear raid of local CPS. It's like, Coral, I don't think this is the most prudent advice right now.
So I haven't watched season 10 of Walking Dead, so I don't know how post Rick Walking Dead is.
Fuck.
I haven't watched
season when they.
I haven't watched since Carl died. I haven't watched since then.
I think it might have been 7.
Yeah, I haven't seen it since that. I gave up halfway through. Maybe I think it was 3 or 4. When was it when they got to the prison?
Oh god, that's 2.
Yeah, I gave up, man. I was just like, I think it was 3.
2 was on the farm, and I think they got the season cliffhanger might have been the prison on 2.
Yeah, so I think halfway through 3 or something, I just was like, come on.
3 was bad.
2 was bad.
Yeah,
I would agree. 3 is also bad. Yeah. But it came around, and I agree with Kyle. The high point was the end of 6. That's where where we met Negan at the end of 6, and then 7 they fucked up, and 8 they fucked up, and
they don't understand how to make good TV. That show's been a fuckaroo since it started. Like right off the bat, you know. Firing the creator and losing all of the stars who came in to work specifically for him at reduced rates.
When did this happen?
Season 2?
They fired the creator of the show, and I didn't know this.
Yeah, like season 2, they fired the creator of the show. Like season 1 had like this. Because season 1 came in, and I'm just making up numbers here, but they're relevant numbers. It doesn't matter what the amounts are, just the ratio. Like season 1 had like a $15 million budget. or something like that. And then season 2, but it exploded. It was like the biggest thing on television. And so at Comic-Con, they're interviewing the creator, and they're like, so season 2, right? Bet they're taking care of you now. Big budget this year. And he's like, I'm gonna let Al answer this one. He's like, Al's like, oh yeah, I got a lot of big things planned this year. Because in reality, they cut the budget. Like the show blew up. It's the biggest thing on TV, and they're like, you know what? I bet you could do it for less next year, huh? And they're like, the fuck? And so like at the end of that season, you'll notice that like characters just start dropping like fucking flies. The old man who was keeping the RV going, the blonde lady who I rejoiced when she died. I remember where I was sitting. She
fucking sucked. I remember that scene.
We're talking about Andrea.
She decided,
Andrea open mouth
to hang out with the old man, and I was like, old man, please, at the last second, concuss her with a little bit of rebar, and you escape, because I like you. I liked the old man.
Old man, is that Dale we're talking about? The one who was like overly honest?
How do you remember that old man's name?
Even a broken clock is right twice a decade.
No. Colin recently watched Walking Dead, and he's autistic, and he goes over the same topics again and again and again. I talk about Walking Dead a good 20 minutes a day, and if I forget something, he makes me sit through a YouTube video to like get refreshed on it. I am now like a Walking Dead historian where I know everything about the show. Do
you ever do that thing when he's showing you a video and you see that it's 14 minutes long and like 45 seconds in you have to go, oh no, I remember everything. I remember it all now. We're good. Do you ever do that?
No, he's compelled to make you see the whole thing. Like it wouldn't blow over quickly. It's much better to watch the video. 14's a lot. They're usually like 5 or 7. Yeah. And so we talk about Walking Dead every day. He talks about different characters, high points, low points, who was good, who was bad.
He's gonna be bummed out when they get to the Negan bashing brains in.
He's through season 9 now, so he's seen that.
Shit.
Yeah. And he makes fun of me. So my favorite character is Glenn, and he's like, "Hey, Dad, you like this T-shirt?" And on the front of the T-shirt is Glenn, and it's like a good-looking Glenn. And then you pull it up, and his bashed-in skull covers your face because it's printed on the inside. And I'm like, fuck, Colin's trolling me.
The fuck?
You're getting fucking trolled by your son.
I was
a little moment.
I was
17.
a huge fan of the show. I don't know what year it would have been. Probably their 3rd or 4th season, somewhere in there. We used to go to these Walking Dead viewing nights at a local bar where, like, I've told the story before, but they'd kick people out for talking if you talk during the show.
Mm.
And it was a great time. We all loved it. My girlfriend loved it. All her friends loved it. Everybody was obsessed with it. And they just drove that fucking ship into the ground over and over and over. And like, I haven't seen since Carl died, I don't think, but I'm told that it just drags on with Negan for like years more with like, just, they can't kill this guy. And I've even watched like videos of the comics that explain like what's coming years from now. And it's just, I'm done.
So
I'm done.
With what happened is they met Negan. Negan smashed in some heads. High. And now they have to establish that Negan is not like the other bad guys we've met before, that he's really got them under their thumb. They should have established that in like 4, maybe even 6 episodes. Instead, they spend 16 episodes of Negan just bullying our favorite people, where they just like again and 16 episodes, and then 16 episodes of them fighting back. Now it's 32 episodes of like
32, probably 28 hours.
2 years of life.
Yeah,
that's what we're talking about. 2 of my life.
It's a lot.
Not theirs. It's a week in Negan land or some shit. But it's been 2 years of my life since they met this guy.
Right.
And I'm just like, holy fucking shit. It's time for them to go. Like I would have expected them to be in another state by now, or like finding another research laboratory. That's what I want from a show like that. Like, get Negan knocked out in 1 season. And then the next season, leave the fucking state. Find an underground research lab with a bunch of kooky scientists who are like trying to cure the thing, and they seem like they're on your side, but it turns out they're experimenting on humans, and then we got to fight them and then escape them and go to New York. Like, I want big money spent on this thing, huge CGI, big cities, lots of characters, and hordes of zombies with machine gun fire, and they can't do that. They want to make it a fucking soap opera with Jeffrey Dean Morgan yammering his fucking lines at the camera while wielding a bat for half a decade.
Do you think it's possible? Because what people have done with like the Star Wars prequels is kind of streamlined and re-edited them into like one movie. Do you think there's a chance, because there's so much content, so many episodes, do you think there's a chance they could do that with The Walking Dead and kind of compress all that to still make sense, but not take 20 episodes?
Oh,
I think it lends
you can knock
itself
it out
to
in
that.
half an hour.
Someone should do it then.
Yeah. If someone did that, I think they'd have some good content. There's a lot you could skip. Like I said,
watch it then.
And Walking Dead, there's a natural division where they split the like they show 8 shows, then you wait like 4 months, and then they show the next 8. That should have been the Negan arc, 8 shows of me, being pressed under his thumb, wishing, like it just gets worse and worse and worse for us, and then 8 shows of us fighting back, and that would have been fine.
Absolutely, yeah. It's I'm done with it. I'm never watching again. You can't drag me back to that fucking show. There's no fucking way. I'm done with them.
Invested though. I'm like, well, shit. I've given them 9 years of my time. Ooh, I've given them 9 years of my time. You've got me curious about 10. What happened?
Nah, they got like 6 or 7 out of me, and I was just done. I was done with AMC and the people who run that show being scumbags, making terrible content.
It's an A+ premise
of,
with a C- execution
at best.
Okay, yeah, I'll line up if you say D or something. But there's still like some A+ episodes. There's some gems in there, and you just wonder, like, oh, did they get any more home runs in the last? I'm just
such a Rick fanboy. Like, I liked it when it was like. I love Rick. I loved when there was a season at the end of season 2 where there's a part where they're around the campfire and Rick's laying it down. He's had enough. He's seen what happens when he's just a voice in the choir, right? He's like, this ain't gonna work. This ain't gonna work no more. We're gonna have to do things my way. And it's like, why is he sounding like Matthew McConaughey a little? And he's like, we're going to do things my way.
I drove a Lincoln before it was cool.
We got to find a Lincoln dealership. And so he's that's when
I drove a Lincoln before it was cool. And now it's becoming Bill Clinton. And now it's fully become a Bill Clinton voice is what it is. Hey, you know what? I was driving a Lincoln before I was raping kids on Epstein's Island. You know what impresses a 12-year-old? They don't care about your car. You show them a bunch of gummy bears, though. That's what you want. That's what you want.
Where do you get to where do you find the child molesting character in Hannibal when he has one of the most sadistic lines ever? He's like, oh, all these little orphan boys and girls, and they would do anything for a chocolate bar.
Is that Verger? Yeah, where it's the guy who plays Jimmy Darmody in, where his voice is like, and they would do anything for a chocolate bar.
Yeah, because he doesn't have any fucking lips anymore. So
he doesn't have lips in any way, and so he says these things.
Jimmy Darmody plays him in the first half of the season when he's introduced, but no longer going forward because
that guy isn't That's not Jimmy Darmody anymore? They switched to a different guy? I am mind blown on that because he has the exact same voice.
If you can do it, I'm sure they can find somebody else who can do it, right? They just slap all that fucking scarification on him and you can't fucking tell. In any case, I liked when they established the Rick-tatorship, when Rick took charge and you were like, finally, we've got a command structure of this thing. I love that show so much. I love the idea of zombies. I've always loved the idea of zombies. I think I do well. We used to fantasize about that shit growing up, watching Dawn of the Dead. You're like, yeah, I'd be great. I'd be great at this. I love that shit. The idea of this post-apocalyptic war with lots of stupid targets.
What I'm loving